Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Future Finance Focus. I'm Owen Reinhardt, and today we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Chris Gannon. Mr. Gannon is the founder and CEO of Bolay, as well as a very experienced businessman himself. Mr. Gannon, thank you for being here today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got here?
Yeah, and thanks for having me on the show. And Chris Gannon, born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. I
Mhm.
got brought up in the food and hospitality business.
Mhm.
I absolutely found that my true passion comes from making others happy
Mhm.
and inspiring and fueling other people to be a little bit better versions of themselves.
Mhm.
I drive happiness through other people. I've found that. And growing up in the New Orleans roots, the Big Easy, always taking care of people.
Yeah.
And, you know, went to Florida State, graduated in finance and tried to get in the marketing realm and loved that world
Uh-huh.
and had that entrepreneur spirit and started a digital signage company. Then um, started a charity. From That's one of my greatest accomplishments that I'll take from my entrepreneur early. I realized I knew how to make a we were doing these charity events. I started the Charity Pole Classic out of Tampa, and I found that I knew how to put on a show and make people happy. And if we
Mhm.
could buy buy also raise money for a lot of events and charities. So philanthropy is near and dear to my heart, and I see so many people that go do very well in business and then start doing philanthropy. I'm like, no, you can use your God-given brain along the journey to do both.
Huh.
And so looking back, that's 12 years running. I learned so much about a balance sheet and P&Ls on a charity, and
Mhm.
how important it was to get the right team built. And then fast forward, I got back in the restaurant business and found that I really wanted to serve a better for you product and take care of people, but be very flavorful, offer genuine hospitality, and on the back of a napkin created Bolay.
Yeah. Yeah, so that actually segues very well into my next question. Many people my age find it very difficult to find an idea or prototype for a business. They feel that everything's already kind of taken. What was it like coming up with the idea of Bolay, back of a napkin kind of idea, or was it a formulated process that you had to go through?
Yeah, so Bolay, the most difficult part about creating Bolay was, quite frankly, Owen, was creating the name.
Mm.
Every name or URL in today's world has been taken. You
Yeah.
don't realize that they already own the URL and this and that. So there's a whole nother story I could tell you about that and the branding aspect of it.
Mhm.
But differentiating yourself, I've always found that I have a keen sense. I'm not necessarily the person that can take something and just make it come from nothing.
Yeah.
I have an eye for seeing something and looking at how can that be made better or
Mm.
done differently, or put my own twist on what they're doing, to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
And I think that's, from the careful consideration, a blend of inspiration and careful planning.
Mhm.
Um, we 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 were inspired by growing a trend towards healthier eating and desire to create a unique dining experience. Yep.
Mm. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. And when you first started Bolay, I'm sure you have people that have to try to start businesses and failed. A lot of majority of small businesses fail when first starting out. How did you and Bolay avoid this statistic?
Um, Great question. Avoiding the statistic of failure was all about the preparation, resilience, and adaptability.
Mm.
We started with a solid business plan. We were meticulous in our market research. We never took our eye off the ball for our unwavering uh, eye on the guest, which is our version of a customer.
Mhm.
Really being laser focused, fan first, making sure that we were creating something that people wanted to come in and use their hard earned money for, and take it to that next level. Uh, so very always with the guest in mind and
Yeah.
making sure that we were there.
Yeah, and you jumped into the food industry, which is one of the hardest businesses or fields to start a business in. What hurdles or challenges did you face when first creating the brand?
Great question. The food industry faces many challenges, poses many challenges,
Uh-huh.
some inside of our control, some outside of control. The immense competitive landscape,
Yeah.
the low barriers of entry.
Hmm.
One of the biggest hurdles we had was differentiating ourselves in a saturated market.
Mm.
So we needed to ensure that the concept was unique and
Hmm.
appealing to our target audience.
Yeah.
The operational challenges, including you know, the reliable supply chain,
Hmm.
maintaining consistency and food quality. But we constantly focused on the guest experience
Hmm.
and taking care of our people, selecting great talent. And that always kind of led us back to a winning end result.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah. And the fast casual food market, like you said, is very competitive with monopoly-like companies like Chipotle and also other bowl-based brands like Sweetgrass or Kava. What are some methods that Bolay uses to gain an edge against competitors?
That's always the difficult one, but I think Bolay distinguishes ourselves by focusing on a few key areas.
Hmm.
First, we emphasize on the customization, allowing our guests to really build their own bowls with a variety of fresh, high quality ingredients.
Yeah.
This caters to a range of, dietary preferences and ensures a unique experience with each visit.
Hmm.
Uh, we cater very few of these. I don't know if any of these concepts are 100% gluten free. So
Yeah.
we are massively focused on that and the massive growth of the celiac disease within this country and within the world, and also just the gluten sensitivity that a lot of people are finding because of the over um, processing of our wheats and so on and so forth. So I think with that and that genuine hospitality, so many restaurants outgrow the genuine hospitality and they look at it as if someone was coming to them and you deserve. We truly appreciate our guests and we value that they choose us over anybody else.
Hmm. And do you mind me asking another question about kind of bullying competition? How do you guys market the brand and reach, say, different target audiences that the demographic doesn't normally cater to?
So obviously you always focus on your core demographic and more so nowadays instead of demographic, it's not necessarily because demographics are so difficult to target these days.
Yeah.
So it's more about psychographics. It's more about behaviorals. What do different people do? Um, you know, uh, Owen and yourself and I might be two different age groups, but you and I might have the same kind of likes or interests or visit same stores or buy the same clothes, where we might be totally two different demographics, but you focus on the psychographic. And so we use a lot of targeting methods through, all the various digital platforms now that can get borderline too intrusive.
Mhm.
Luckily, we don't have the budgets or the knowledge on how to do that, but we at least tried to, I guess.
And how do you track profits through marketing online? Like, I feel like that's always been a question for me with brands, like, say, going on Shark Tank. How could you track kind of any publicity is good publicity, like a lot of people say, but how do you
Yeah.
track profits from specific advertising marketing strategies?
That's the $1 million question. I've talked to top CMOs and all that, and a lot of your digital ad spends, you pretty much can know with the cookies and the tracking and all that.
Mhm.
Um, but a lot of it is brand awareness, top funnel, really letting people know who you are and exist, and keep reminding people.
Mhm.
You can see it spend versus trends and sales, but to have that direct ROAS, return on ad spend, to
Yeah.
have that directly correlated down to the science. Um, I would say there's a lot of direct to consumer brands that can do that,
Mhm.
but the nature of the restaurant business, I don't think so. And our cost of acquisition for a new guest um, is very little compared to a law firm or a mattress firm or a car dealership. So it's a challenge.
Uh-huh. Interesting. And so, like you were talking about earlier, you've made a lot of changes with your team and you've hired a lot of people. So, what qualities or skill sets do you look to hire? Or are there any trends that you see in people that join the company?
Yeah, passion. I
Passion.
think passion is something that has been within the DNA of the Bolay spirit and the team.
Mhm.
There's something that is within the deep culture within our people, from the team members, our hourly team members, all the way up into the corporate restaurant support center. Um, a lot of passion to win. Sometimes it kind of it becomes a detriment, or we get in our way, or getting each other's way because there's so much alpha desire to win. Um, but a great mentor always told me, and I believe this too. I'd rather hold back a stallion than kick a mule.
Mhm.
And Bolay's got a lot of stallions, no pun intended, if you will. Um, but yeah, we look for passionate, energetic, and really aligned with our core values and our mission.
Mhm.
I think that's the biggest thing, Owen, is making sure that when we're selecting talent, because at Bolay we try not to hire people, we
Mhm.
select talent, and when we select the talent, it's based on our core values, our mission and purpose of trying to fuel people to be their best.
Interesting. And just kind of going off that hiring question, do you think college education kind of goes into that? Like, do you look for, hey, this guy went to a better college than this applicant, we should take him? Or is it more of an interview process where you get to know them and it's almost a personality hire?
A lot of it has to do with the level within the organization and the responsibilities they're going to be in. I don't put a massive personally emphasis into it. It's definitely on there where it's a key, it is a differentiator. Um, I think college is just a pathway to, in my humble opinion, I don't think it's a need.
Hmm.
Obviously, there's plenty of entrepreneurs that have gone out there and shown that college is irrelevant to them. But I would say for the journey and life of the American lifestyle and the way we do things, I definitely see it as a great stepping stone to go from, in your parents to having some fun and enjoying life by also expanding your brain and learning how to new things and forcing you to read on subjects or learn things that you'll never know, but you don't realize where that history lesson comes up into a conversation that, you just can't talk about balance sheets and P&Ls all day long. When you're trying to build a relationship with people, you need to know about current events or world affairs or history or science. So I do believe it's a great stepping stone. Now, I would also emphasize that I think they need to put some more generic worldly courses that everybody should take, whether
That's
you're studying anything, teach people about basics of, you know, what's an APR on their credit card. So many
uh-huh.
people graduate college and don't know what APR means.
Mhm.
So, or interest rates on a mortgage, just things that you need as a living in America.
Yeah. Interesting. And so, Mr. Gannon, my final question for you. Is there any advice you've received or any lessons you've learned throughout your long and very successful career that have been most valuable to you as an entrepreneur that you'd like to share?
Yeah, one of the best advice I was given was um, always stay customer focused,
Hmm.
guest focused. Always listen to your customers and be willing to adapt based on their feedback.
Yeah.
Um, and then, business is such an up and down roller coaster of amazing forward motion, then pauses, then stops, then backs. So staying resilient, I think, and staying true to the course because it's it's not easy. It's not easy. It's definitely not. It's fun. It's a beautiful journey,
Hmm.
um, but it's got its ups and downs for sure.
Hmm. Great. Yeah, that was very insightful. Thank you, Mr. Gannon. It was a pleasure having you on here. I appreciate the opportunity. And I wish you the best of luck. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Owen.
Mm.